Hello guys, good evening to all. How are you guys? Hello guys. Okay. So guys, have you did any kind of a practice? The 3 day link that I have shared with you, the day 1, day 2 and day 3. So have you guys did any kind of a practice from your own end, or was you guys exploring some new libraries or some new functions with pandas or maybe with Python? Yeah, hello guys. Good evening to all. So tell me guys, was you guys was exploring something from your own end or not? What things you have explored? Okay, visualization you have explored. Like which libraries you have explored in visualization? Data cleaning you was exploring, all right. Okay. Web scraping, okay. Handling missing values, that is also a really good thing, Nitin. Handling missing values and all. Data cleaning and Seaborn, all right. Because just see all the things that we have discussed. Let us just say we have basically discussed your Seaborn, we have basically discussed your Matplotlib, and there are like much more libraries out there for the visualization purpose. But the thing is, the code, yeah, Plotly is also a good library. Yes, so there is like an advantage with respect to Plotly. Let me just show you that. So this is basically your Plotly. So over here, just see, let's just say if I have a bar graph, the same kind of a graph that we have seen. So whenever you will be just going to hover your mouse, it will show you the actual numbers, that this is a 0 and 2, and this is at 1 and 1, this is at 2 comma 3. So like this is the advantage of using Plotly, and like you can like move it somewhere, and you can like zoom it in also. If you want, you can like zoom it in, you can zoom it out. That is totally like up to you. So let me just give you one scenario. What is the and if I just talk about the code, just see, this is the code that you will be able to see over here. So for the coding purpose, you don't have to do anything, you just have to follow a proper documentation. All right. Now, let us just consider a scenario where we can use this Plotly. So Plotly we majorly use in the dashboard. Let us just say if I have a client data set, and if I have to present these things, the data insights on a dashboard. Obviously, if you want to show something, if you want to present something to the client, you'll be not going to give them your code, and you'll be just not going to ask them, okay, just run it and see the result. You obviously have to show it somewhere. So we basically used to show it on the dashboard. So when we basically used to show it on the dashboard, over there we basically used to do these kind of visualization like this. So it basically look nice also, and client basically do some kind of a changes like zoom in, zoom out, moving the values and all like this. Okay, they can basically do it like this. Okay, this is the thing that like a client basically can do. So just to make your dashboard more beautiful and more, I can basically say, readable, at that time we basically use this Plotly library. All right, so let's just discuss the next part. So this is the things that we have basically seen in the yesterday session. Now let me just open new notebook. and let's just connect it. And let's just say right now what we'll be going to do, we'll be just going to use yesterday CSV only. Today we'll be going to create one more CSV, but let's just wait for it. Today I'll be just going to give you a little bit introduction about machine learning also and each and everything. Okay, so I think this was the one, right? Yesterday. Till then, if you guys basically want to ask me anything related to like job or something, what kind of a work you will be going to do, anything, you can basically ask me in the chat. So this was my CSV. So let's just copy the path and let's just zoom it little bit. Now let's just do import pandas spd. Now df. Now we'll be going to understand about the statistics today. So if you are in data science, for sure, you have to do little bit analysis over here. Okay, you basically have to do little bit analysis. Like in statistics also, there are a lot of things. Like I can basically say t test is there, z test is there, ANOVA test is basically there, correlation test is there. So some tests will be going to cover, and all other things, if I just talk about what are some things that you can basically do in as terms of statistics. Okay, so that will be even going to understand. Now let's just say if I have this data set, and if I'll be simply going to do df, let's just say head will be just going to call first. So df dot describe. All right, so just see this thing. Now we have this thing mean 25, 50, 75 max, and all of these things are basically there. So let's just pick age column only for now, and let's just call df age. So this is basically the age that I basically want to get. Now I basically want to do some kind of an analysis on it. What kind of analysis I'll be going to do, and what kind of analysis I'll be going to pass. Okay, what you are saying for data science, which fresher job role to start with? Anything, just see. In data science you will be going to get multiple roles. You might can get computer vision as a computer vision engineer, deep learning engineer, natural language processing engineer, machine learning engineer, data scientist will also be there, and AI ML developer, AI ML engineer will also be there. So just get any kind of a role and just try to do projects and try to learn new things. That will be sufficient. Things doesn't depend on the job role. Okay, job can be anything in data science, but the main thing is that what you are learning over there. Okay, now let us just say if I have this age column, right? Now what kind of information I can basically pass from this age column to client? Can anyone give me an idea what kind of information I can basically pass to the client? What do you think? If you have an age column, apart from visualizing it, what kind of information you can extract? Yes, you'll be able to do projects after this thing. Tell me, guys, what kind of a analysis you can do from this age? Anyone? Guys, just try to do something. Just try to think about anything. Yes, you can analyze which age is like maximum. So for getting it, you can basically do max. Okay. You can even get one thing, which age is like minimum. Right? You can even get the average age by calling mean. These things you can basically easily get over here. You can basically get the median. Now just tell me guys, okay, if I have a list one, all right, I have 1 2 3, okay, let us just say, if I have this list, okay, which one is the medium over here? What do you understand by median? Or let us just say, which one is median over here? In this list, which one is median? 5 is median. Okay. Now tell me which one is median. Okay, 6. Right. And now what do you think? Which one is will be a median? Okay. So just see this thing, guys. And what if I just talk about what is mode? Yeah, guys, you are right. 6. Okay, tell me one thing. What do you think if which one is mode now? Which one is mode now? 5. Okay. 6, 5, 5. Yeah, obviously. So median is basically what? Whichever the value is in the median. Let's just say right now we have 4 here and 4 here. Now these are basically 2. So how we'll be going to call the median? That will be like 6 plus 6, and whatever you are getting, just divided by 2. So you will be going to get 6. All right. And mode is what? Mode is basically defined as the most occurred value. So the same thing we'll be going to do over here. We'll be even going to calculate the mode. Mode like this. So we'll be going to get the mode. Okay. And there is something called as variance. Okay. Variance is basically also there. And after that, there is something called as basically this thing. Okay. So let's just understand what is the skewness. First of all, max is like whichever the maximum value you have. Okay. Min is like this thing 17. Mean is basically what your average. Median is basically what the value that is in the middle. Mode is basically what the most occurred value. Variance is basically what how your data has been spreaded. And what is basically this skew? Let's just try to understand. Yesterday we have seen these things, right? We have seen this graph. So just see this thing over here. You will be able to see a graph is like this, but it is like more over here. If I just compare this graph, so on the left hand side more data points are falling, but if I just consider this one, so there is like less this thing, right? Similarly, if I just compare this graph, so it is like majorly distributed on the left hand side. Okay, and if I just talk about right hand side, it is totally empty. So this thing is known as skew. This thing is basically known as skewness. Mode is basically nothing. Mode is the most repeated value. If I just consider this list, so what do you think? Which one is the most repeated value? Can I say 5? Because 6 is repeating 2 times, but 5 is getting repeated 3 times. Yes, like tomorrow we'll be going to do a good project, don't worry. And today I'll be just going to show you a little bit of a project, that how you can basically do projects and all. So that is basically your skewness. Just see this thing. So what is this basically a skewness? All right, what is basically this skewness? Skewness play a major role in data science. It doesn't mean that we are just like over here, we are like just doing this thing. We are just doing the analysis and all. What we have to do, the data set that we have for now, we have to feed this data set to a artificial intelligence model where it will be able to predict the future values. Where it will be able to predict the future values. All right. That we basically have to do. Now let us just say what kind of a future value it will be going to predict. Let's just say if there are mobile prices, you can even consider the iPhone. Like iPhone 10 was there, then 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, right? So prices are basically gradually increasing. So if you basically want to predict some prices with iPhone 16 or something else, you'll be easily able to do it. This is just an example, not an accurate one, that you basically have to predict iPhone prices only. You can basically predict sale of basically particular buildings, particular flats, particular houses and all. This is what you can basically do with the help of machine learning models. All right. This is what you can basically do. Now, let us just do one thing for now. I have this particular list over here. All right. And this is how we basically able to get multiple these things. This is the thing that we have basically did over here. This is nothing, but this is your statistical analysis. This is what statistics is. Over here, you have just did a statistical analysis. Yes, right now we'll be going to use linear regression, a project that I'll be just going to show you. So at that time, we'll be basically going to use linear regression only. All right. So let's just do one thing. So if let's just start a little bit introduction with machine learning. Okay. So this is my demo data set for now. Just see this thing. Let me just directly print the DF only. So just see this thing. Now we have two columns, that is TV and sales. So this is something you can basically consider. Something is basically the inches or maybe anything you can basically consider the value that we have in the TV. And this is basically the sales, that this was the total sale with respect to this kind of version of TVs and all. So what we will be going to do on the basis of this TV value, what we will be going to do, we will be going to predict the sales. Right now, let's just keep it really simple because tomorrow we'll be going to do a good project. But this is just a basic one, so you'll be able to understand what machine learning is. Now, just see one thing, guys. Machine learning is not just about getting sales or getting the future value and all, or doing some kind of a classification. Okay, there are a lot of scenarios, there are a lot of problems that you can solve with respect to the machine learning. But if I just talk about these days just having a knowledge of machine learning is not sufficient. You should be really good at machine learning, you should be really good at deep learning, you should be really good at natural language processing. But it doesn't mean, if in, let us just say, these days, like the chat gpt we have, right? So these are basically nothing but these are large language models, llm, you can basically consider. So in companies these days, most of the companies are working on large language models only. But it doesn't mean that if companies are working on large language model, and so you'll be going to learn the same technology, you'll be just going to learn natural language processing, and after that you'll be just going to apply for the job. It is really necessary to learn the basics, because in interviewer will going to ask you about machine learning, deep learning, and all of the things. Because if right now company is working on natural language processing, on generative ai, or maybe large language models, it doesn't mean that all the time they'll be going to work with the same technology. What if they'll be going to get a project in machine learning? So you should be really know what machine learning is, which model you can use, right? Are you guys able to understand what I'm trying to say over here? Yes or no, guys? Yes or no, guys? What do you think? Okay, so that's why the knowledge of these things are really important. Okay, cool. Now, so we have this data set for now. So what we'll be going to do, let's just say df we have. So let us just do a head of it, df dot head. So we'll be basically going to get the head. If I'll be simply going to do df dot tail, I'll be going to get the tail of it. And if I basically have to look into the information of it, so this is how I can basically have an information, that is df dot info. So right now it is saying I have two columns, that is tv and sales, and in both I basically have the data type of float 64, right? So this is the information that you will be able to get. Now tell me one thing, guys. If I have this data set and I have to check how many rows and how many columns it have, so what we'll be going to do? Tell me, guys, fast. I want to check the shape of it. Shape, right? Yeah. Harsh, in shape we never use closing brackets. Only shape you basically have to write. So we basically have 20 rows and 2 columns. And let's just do one thing. df dot describe. So we are like doing an statistical analysis over here. That TV has the minimum value of 17 and say minimum sales is 9 and the maximum sale was 25. But if I just talk about the average sales, that is going to be 17. So if today you basically want to open a business of TV reselling or something, you'll be easily able to make this much of sale, that is 17. You will get the certificate, Asta, don't worry, when once you'll be able to complete this course bootcamp. So in the all link you'll be able to see in the description box, over there you'll be able to get. Okay, so this is the analysis only that you are basically doing over here. Okay, now let's just try to print something also over here. df dot, I basically have to df dot plot. X is basically going to be my TV and Y is basically going to be my sales. Now just see this. What is the meaning of this thing? Okay, over here we'll be able to clearly see one thing, that if there is something like, let's just say TV prices or something is basically there. If the value of TV is increasing, the sale is also increasing. Just see, just look over here, that this is the value, this is the value, this is the value. Now just see. Don't you feel one thing? If this value is increasing, these values are also increasing, guys. What kind of information you will be able to get from this thing? Can I say one thing? That these two values are related to each other. If I can give another example, so you can consider years versus the price of petrol. Okay, just 1 second. If I basically have a data set like this, in the y-axis we'll be going to keep years and then the petrol of prices. Now just see this thing. You can consider it like, if you want to add some custom values over here, so you can even add, let's just say previously it was like 45, then like it was 49, 53, 55, 60, 70, 75, 80, 88, let's just say 83, 85, 88, 90, or let's just say 95. Same thing will be going to copy 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times, right? 1, 2. All right. Now just see this thing. Now you will be able to see as the year was like increasing, the petrol prices was also increasing. So this is nothing but the analysis. It is nothing, with the help of pandas only you will be able to do it. You just have to convert it into data frame. You have just have to read it with pandas and you just have to call this plot. Right now this is not any kind of a library that I'm using over here. All right. Now what we have to do, guys, we have a data set like this. So we have two values over here. One is year and other one is like price of petrol. So what we have to do, first we have to, if whenever will be going to pass this thing to a machine learning model, first we have to divide it into two variables. Let's just say x, that is going to be df year, and the next is going to be y is equal to df price of petrol. This is how we'll be just going to separate it. So if I'll be just going to call x, I'll be going to get the value of x, and y. So now we'll be just going to teach model that with respect to this value, you have to learn this value. Okay, we are just like dividing it into two variables. This is like each and every time we'll be going to do the same thing. All right, we'll be basically going to do the same thing each and every time over here. Now, after that, what we'll be basically going to do is we'll be simply going to call a linear regression model over here. All right, now this is basically a library that is your scikit-learn, from where you will be going to get your each and every artificial intelligence model. Okay, so let us just say if I have this library and if this is not installed, so what you have to do, you just have to do pip install scikit-learn. Like pandas we was having for reading the CSV, for analyzing the CSV. Similarly, we basically have sklearn for artificial intelligence models. Understood, guys? Can I get a quick confirmation? Can I get a quick confirmation, guys? Are we on the right track or not? What do you think? Are you guys all able to understand the things that I'm explaining over here, right? Okay, understood. Okay, good. So what we'll be going to do now, so this is basically going to be your linear regression model. So if you'll be just going to write sklearn and the model that you want to use over here, right? So over here, they will be just going to tell you, okay, like this, you have to import this model. Just copy this thing and paste it. You just have to write import sklearn.linear model, sorry, from, like from sklearn, you are importing this model. Okay, you are importing this model from sklearn. This is what you are saying over here. Okay, this symbol, if you'll be even going to remove it, it will still install it. Now we have two things, x comma y. So what we'll be going to do, we'll be going to call this linear regression. Now how do we call this AI models? Just come on the official documentation and scroll it down little bit, so you'll be able to see this code. Okay, that like this you have to do it, that first you have to call it like this. So copy the same thing and paste it over here, that in a rag variable we have stored linear regression. Okay, now what you have to do, rag dot fit which thing, x comma y, that my model will going to learn from the x, that if this is the value of x, it should predict this value, and whenever the value is 2011, this should be the value. So this is nothing but a pattern that my model will going to recognize. Okay, so what it is basically saying, we have to do one thing over here. Now let us just check the x first. It should again give us error. Yeah, just give me 1 second, guys. Okay, so what error it is basically giving me? uh 1 second. Train and test, yes, we can like split it also. We Just 1 second. Basically this doesn't need this one, but let me just check it. That should be also in 2D. Okay, so what we have did, we have basically trained it. Over here we was calling the model, and right now for learning a model, let us just say if basically there is a person. Okay, first you will be just going to call that person over here, and if you want something to make it learn, you have to follow this approach only. In the variable where you have stored linear regression, the same thing you have to do, rag.fit x comma y. Now let's just see one thing. Till now we was having the value of 2029 and the petrol price was 95. Or let's just do one thing, let's just change it, because it was like continuous only over here. So let's just say it was like 96, then 97, 98, 99, then it was like 100, let us just say 105, then it was 107. Now this is like my new data over here. So like continuously the value is basically increasing. Now let's just do the same thing, and let's just train. Over here we have trained a linear regression model. Now I have the data set till 2029. What if I want to check what will be the prices of petrol in 2035? So what we'll be going to do, rag the variable in which I have stored linear regression dot predict. That means we are predicting the future value. So 2035 I want to check. Okay, X has one feature, but linear regression has 20 features. Input. Okay, one thing is like we are missing over here. Okay, sorry. This should be in array also. Okay, it has considered all of these things as a single this thing. So we might have did something over here wrong. Let us just check this thing. Just give me 1 second. Something we have did wrong over here. This should not be in array. I don't think it should be in array. Okay, it should be like this first of all. Okay, now it is basically not giving any kind of error, because so we'll be simply going to check with this one. Okay, expecting 2D array got 1D. Just 1 second. X was here and Y is this one. Y is there. Okay, so now it is saying the price of petrol in 2035 should be 130, and in the according to the data set what it was telling that in 2029 the prices will be 107. But over here what we are doing, we are basically predicting the future value only, right? Okay, so this is basically your linear regression over here. Now what is basically a linear regression, how basically it basically works, just see this thing. Just see this thing. Just give me 1 second, guys. Now, just see, this is basically your data set, right? In a short, I'll be going to explain you that this is going to be your y-axis and this is going to be your x-axis. Just 1 second. Yeah. This is going to be your y-axis and this is going to be your x-axis. Now these are what? These are the data points only. You can consider it a year and a petrol prices. So what linear regression is doing, it is basically drawing this red line over here. Okay, so this red line will work as a predicted line. Right now it is considering that if y-axis will going to increase, x will also increase, and this line will also increase in a straight way. Okay, future predicted process, just wait. So what mistake we was doing basically, guys, that the x that we are passing, that should be in 2D array. So you always have to call it like this. We was like calling it in this one, in a single list, or you can consider it two lists. What is 2D and 3D? Just see. If a value is like this is in 1D. If I'll be going to add one more bracket, this is in 2D. If I'll be going to add one more bracket, this is in 3D. If one more bracket I'll be going to add, this is in 4D. All right. So this should be in 2D and this should be in 1D. If this should also be in 2D, it will also work. There is no as such problem in it. So if you'll be just going to call linear regression, so it is like working. Now I want to predict the future value. For the future prediction, what we have to do, first we basically have to call a rag, a variable in which I have basically stored my linear regression, and I simply have to do rag dot predict and the particular value I want to predict it for 2035, but it is now giving me an error. What error it is giving me? It is saying expected 2D array got scalar value instead. What is the meaning of it? It is saying when you was doing the training, you have mentioned these two brackets. Okay. But when you want me to predict the value, at that time you are just passing it like this. So things are not going to work in this way. You have to add the same two brackets that you have passed me in the training. Only then it will be able to tell you that in 2035 the price of petrol will be 130 point something. Understood, guys? Now Manish Kumar, I hope you are able to understand now. Yes, we can plot a graph for linear regression. Look, if you want to predict the year, what you have to do is you have to send the prices in the x variable and the year in the y variable. Yes, here we are finding future prices. because that is what machine learning and artificial intelligence is. You have to predict future value. By passing the present data set, you have to predict future values. Got it? You can do vice versa. I'm telling you, no, you can do vice versa over here. Just see. Let's just copy it. All right. Let's just copy this code. Okay. Now instead of petrol prices, it should come here, and over here there should be a year. Now what we'll be going to do? We'll be going to train it. Now I'll be going to tell my model, okay, tell me one thing. I'm telling you the price of petrol. Let us just say 150 something. Now I'll be going to ask in which year I'll be going to get this much of petrol price. So it is saying in 2039. Okay, if you want a value like it is giving you in dot, so that is not a problem. You can get it like this. So it is saying in 2039, this will be the price of petrol. Yes. So first, before doing any kind of a model building, you have to be sure what will be your X and what will be your Y. Got it, guys? So guys, do you have any kind of a confusion till now? So do you guys have any kind of a confusion till now? If yes, what kind of a confusion you guys have? Tomorrow we'll be going to do a good project, which will going to include all the things that we have seen till now. Reading, data analysis, statistical analysis will be there, correlation will be there, what is correlation, and using multiple machine learning models. This is the thing what we'll be going to do tomorrow. Evaluating the machine learning models using different evaluation matrices. Okay. This is what we'll be going to do for tomorrow. Guys, don't forget to hit the like button. If you really enjoyed the session, please hit a like button. Yes, you can add the project in GitHub also, no problem. Yes, you can keep tomorrow project in resume also. There is no as such problem. Yes, we can apply train test split. So tomorrow we'll be going to apply it. Tomorrow you will be going to apply it. I will show you. Hit the like button, guys, if you really enjoyed the session. Look, for learning algorithms, how algorithms are working and these things, I can basically say 10 to 15 days are sufficient. Yes, the certification will going to help you. Nitin, just see, for if you basically want to learn data science, first you have to learn Python, then machine learning, then deep learning, then natural language processing. MD Yashir, just see, if you'll be going to do this thing, so it will be vice versa only, nothing else. It will work. Okay, it will work. But over here again it is the same thing. Y is your the value that you are training it on, and X value it will predict in future. And what was the X value? It is price of petrol. So now I have to add year here. So it will predict the price of petrol, that will be 178. Yes, I will show that. Tuckle K, I will show it tomorrow. Just see, predicted value was in float, but can a year will be in float? No, the year will always be in int. That's why we was using int. Innocent Reddy, just see, without even doing the DSA, you can easily get a job in data science. But try to understand the data types, the structure of it. Just there is no need for doing the DSA, just like bubble sort, tree algorithms, and all these things. Hit the like button also, guys, on the YouTube channel where you'll be able to get the subscribe button, right? If you really enjoyed the session, if I was basically able to answer all of the question that you was asking to me, and if you guys are like, if you guys have really enjoyed it, please hit the like button also. Yes, just see, first you basically have to do Python, after that machine learning, then deep learning, then natural language processing, and you are like ready to go for a job. DS is not mandatory for data science. DS is just for your understanding. Yeah. Okay, guys, so I can basically say this is it for today's session. Then bye each and everyone, and take care, guys. Have a good day. Bye bye, guys. Thanks for joining. Bye, guys. Take care.